It's V. Thought you got rid of me. No, sorry. Hate to tell you, you didn't. I'm gonna try to make this quick, but somehow I have a feeling it probably won't go that way. But I'm not gonna make it super long, okay? Promise. I just wanted to kind of speak because I have been watching the news again and the different shows that I watch and listening to people talk. And some things have kind of bothered me again. And I know I've been saying in my last couple videos that we all need to stand up and speak out and do things for our restaurants and our stores that can't be open, the small businesses and things like that. But now I think we need to go a step further. And I think we need to speak out for the people that don't want to wear masks, the people that are worried about their kids not being in school, or the people that just want to live again, that want to be out there and alive. And I found a group online. It's called the Constitutional Law Group. And I think everybody needs to search them online and look at their information. It's got so much stuff that is amazing that's going to knock you off your feet. And it's also got ways that will help you to fight the people in your towns, whether city, country, from low to high, to give us our rights back. To where the restaurants, you do not have to close your doors. When they come knocking and say, we are going to haul you out of here, shut your doors, you can say nope, and it'll tell you exactly how to handle it. When they try to tell you that you have to wear your mask, you can say no, 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 no. Tell you how and what to do. When they try to tell you your kids have to wear a mask at school, it tells you what to do. To say no, no, my kid's not doing it, and exactly why. And if you do, they do try to bypass you and take you to court and arrest you and fine. It tells you, it gives you a number to call. They'll fight with you, they'll stand with you, and they'll even tell you what to say in court. If for some reason that you're caught before, they can get to you before you can get their help, if you've already been caught. So I'm telling you, this is something that those that want to fight really need to do it. Constitutional Law Group. Look at their stuff up, look at their information, because what they've already done for those of you that want to fight or believe what you believe. And I'm not telling you have to believe what I believe or what anyone else believes. I'm just saying for those of you that want to fight, that do think that America needs to get back to what it needs to be, and are tired of being told to live in a cocoon and to be told not to live, and you're afraid of that they're making you live in fear that you don't need to live in. And I'm sorry, I'm not saying I don't believe in COVID. Please do not get that, because my not I haven't personally, but my family has had friends that have had it, have caught it, and they said, yeah, that they were diagnosed with it and it wasn't good and pleasant and stuff, or that maybe have down the line known someone that has said they have lost it, maybe somebody older that has lost it. So I know that yes, it can affect you, and stuff like that. Okay, but I also remember last year when that really super bad flu came around and stuff, and I went and I got tested for it, and they shoved that nasty tester thing up your nose and it hurt like fire. And I remember being so miserable that I felt like I was going to die. I remember praying, Lord, take me. If you don't have a need for me here, Lord, take me. Because it was so miserable. And you went to the ER and they'd send you home and they'd say, I'm sorry, nothing we can do for you. There's no treatment for this whatsoever. It's got to go through your body. It's got to do itself out. You're just going to take allergy medicines the best we can tell you. Just live through it. And it could take up to 2 weeks. And I remember that being the most miserable time of my life. But I got through it and stuff. And it was just like when that flu happened, it was like a herd community had to just kind of get through. It had to go through, and there were people that it killed. I think it was like 190 or 200,000 people that it killed, unfortunately. About the same numbers that this COVID is killing. But this COVID is going to kill more. You know why? Because it's not doing the herd community. And that's just my personal opinion. I'm not a doctor, so I can't say for sure. So you that want to yell at me and say, you don't know what you're talking about because you're not in the medical profession. I'm not saying I am. I'm just saying that's my opinion. Okay? But the herd community, I think it would have made a big difference if it had been taken care of. But that constitutional law group is also going to show you some facts on it that said maybe there's a little more to this that people understand. And I'm not talking that everybody's got to think conspiracy theory and all this stuff, but it's been known for a long time the government's not as trustworthy as everybody thinks. Okay, but that's life. Live and let live, as people want to say. Believe what you want to believe. I'm not telling anybody they have to believe like me or anything, but I'm just saying we have our rights as American citizens because we are the people, as it says, and we the people. So I'm going to get back to what I was saying. Anytime anything goes on in the United States of America or in your life, you should always want to know who, when, what, why, where, how. And those are questions people quit asking. Everybody started just believing the fake news. Everybody started just believing everything they were told, and everybody just started going along with the flow. And I think that as we grow older, we get a little wiser. But I grew up in the 80s, and I grew up with, my grandma who taught me that things were different. And I remember in the 80s when things were going on, and the AIDS virus came out, and people had caring for each other, and people cared about the hunger of the world and things like that. And they did Hands Across America. And there was more of a unity than there was of destruction going on. And I find it funny that the politicians that were here now in the two different battles, one was for destruction and one was trying to build a unity. But people didn't see that. And that shows the difference of the era of the times. And I find that sad. And I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not political in the sense of I am not a Republican or Democrat. I'm independent. I vote morals and values. And that's why I got interested in looking into the politics this year, because my morals and values were being taken advantage of. And I had to vote on who was going to just try to destroy and take away what I believed and was being walked on. And when I was growing up, you had your friends and you could go to the pool and you could swim and you could walk home and it was safer. And you had your different groups. Yes, which now you still do. You still have your cliques. But yet you could still be a little bit of you. And if you were right and in the right towns and stuff, and you still had those values, even though towns were so far apart. Like I lived in one town, and there was more cliques in that town. And if your name was certain names, you kind of, had a little more of an air or a little more standing in the town. So everybody just automatically wanted to hang around or be with you. But you could still get along with them, but you had to kind of, to be more respected, you had to be that with that group. But you could still be the friend, but to have more of the events, you had to be with that group. But when you went to the other town, 10 miles more, yeah, they had their cliques too. But to be okay there, you just had to be nice. You just kind of had to be respectful. And you were okay. And I always found that funny. You just had to be kind of more real. So I remember I pretty much got along with everybody, but I wanted to be at that school because it was more real. So I graduated from that school. My brother graduated from this school, and he fit in with everybody, but he said he didn't want to be so much with what he would call the kids, which he could have, but he didn't really care because he was him. And he would tell me stories about how he would go into class and sit at classes and walk out halfway through, and the teachers didn't even know he wasn't supposed to be in the class. But that's beside the point. What I'm trying to say is, though, during the 80s, like I said, we cared about the events going on, and they had Hands like across America because they wanted to try to help when things went wrong and stuff. And here we are now, and we're worried about destroying things and who we can tear apart instead of putting back together. And that's why I want to say we need to fight for our small businesses. Fight to get our kids in school. And as a point for school, let's talk about the teaching. Let's get our teachers back to teaching. When I was in school, we had a science teacher took us outside. We built a rocket, we shot it. Somewhere up at the middle school here, where I used to live, grew up and lived in, we made a time capsule. We all wrote things in it, and it was buried underneath this middle school that's there right now that I don't even know if the school remembers it. That was supposed to be taken out at some point, or will someday be found and stuff. But it's things like that. Or we had a teacher that would teach us, you had to actually have stores and to build things, and you the teachers got involved. We had teachers that asked us questions, like we had to write things and stuff, and write down, like, what did you think the future was going to be like? And then we would have class discussions and we talk about it. Like one of the questions, what do you think the music's going to be like? Well, if you had a radio station, what would you do with it? What would you think it'd be? And we all wrote our things down, and mine was like, I think I'll have a radio station that plays a little bit of everything. And I remember my teacher saying, well, I don't think that will make it because they never know what they'd hear. But yet here today, we have stations that play a little bit of everything and stuff. Or the funny parts are at school, which at this time wasn't funny to me. I can laugh at it now, but I didn't laugh then. But like there was a time at school I was sick, missed a couple days. So I didn't get the stock market part of training. So when the test came, I took the test and it said, what's a bull market? Yeah, you already figured it out, didn't you? I said, when the question said, what is the bull market? I said, where they sell bulls. Well, it wasn't bad enough that I missed the question, but the teacher thought it'd be funny to read my answer to the class. Now, nowadays, see, people somewhere would probably say something, and that would probably, and I might even be that one that might go and raise a havoc about it. Probably not. I would be mad at my kid for not studying. But the point of it is, it was all interaction. And I'm sorry, we have teachers that went to school to learn to teach because why? They love children. And they want, I'm not going to say that all teachers are, some bad teachers out there. Forgive me for the ones that are good. I'm not meaning you. But there are good teachers out there that's why they went to school, to teach. Because they love kids and they want them to learn. And the way they want them to learn is by interaction. So let's give that back to them. Get rid of the unions, if that's what's destroying it. Take it away. Let's get them back to where they get to teach, to where they get to interact. If you want to keep technology in it a little bit, that's fine. I have no problem with that. But there's nothing wrong with making them go to a library and look something up a little bit. That's why we still have our libraries. And then let them do some research online with that. But hey, when I'm paying to buy a notebook and 5 pads of paper and 3 different notebooks divided with 2 dividers, thin line, oh, I don't hate wide line, thin line paper. Let's use thin line. Let's at least use it. Let's get back to cursive writing. Let's teach them how to count back change. There's nothing worse than us going into a change. I teach my grandkids and my kids how to count back change and how to do old school math. Let's quit trying to update all this junk. Let's teach them how to just do basics. When I go to a store and when my total comes up to 1821, I can look at my 7-year-old grandson and I can give him 2001 and I can say, hey, little man, how much change am I getting? And he can tell me the change in his head because I taught him old school math faster than the person behind the counter can do it. Or if we go through a drive-through and I go through a drive-through and I have a order when we're buying for the whole family and it's 28.31 and I give, or 20, let me do it this way, 25.31 and I give the person 30.31 and they try to start counting change back to me, and I'm looking at my 13-year-old grandson and I'm saying, how much change do I have? And he can knock it out of his head just like that because I can teach him old school math, and they're punching it in a machine and they're still trying to figure out, or they're trying to count it back because they didn't punch it in the machine and they're saying, no, you gave me changed. No, it was 25-31 and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I give you 30-31 out of 25-31 and stuff. And they can't figure it out. That's because y'all are messing them up with all this new stuff. Let's teach them some of this. Let's go back old school. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm sorry. I hate to say it. Okay, I got off topic again. But anyway, I'm just saying, let's let's give our teachers back what they need. Let's get our schools back. And for those of you that are fighting for things like that, fighting for our diners, fighting for to just live again, because we have to get our kids in interaction. We have to be in interaction. We are killing ourselves. There's more suicides, more domestic violence. Everything is going on because we're in this lockdown state. We need to get back to being us, to living again. And that constitutional law group has information on how we can all get back to doing it. We need to start standing up for our rights. And I want to tell you something. They've already broke, this is stuff I've learned just from that site alone. They've already broken so many things. USC, the Fourth Amendment, the Sixth Amendment. And let me tell you something. As far as the mask, there are 3 known problems that come with mask that a lot of sites on your fake news, for those of you that are going to go on Google and are going to go on all these, like the Facebook stuff and all this stuff that is just so you know, is all part of the high money stuff that's bought by Facebook. You have to go on the real news sites, the real information sites, like what's the one that's I can't think of the one right offhand. Oh, DuckDuckGo. Go on those that give you real information, not the bot sites like Google that are going to automatically just not let you, like if you go on Google and type in like certain things, it's going to automatically only give you facts that it just wants you to know. It's going to say everything that I'm telling you is false. But go to Constitutional Law Group and look up this stuff and go DuckDuckGo and look up these 3 diseases and things or stuff, because so many people, I can tell you that the sun is, or I can tell you a certain fact and you're going to tell me a certain fact, and if I dig deep enough, I'm going to find my facts, you're going to find your facts. It's in every argument. But I'm telling you 3 things. One's hypoxia. Hypoxia is, and I wrote this down, so excuse me while I read it, is the absence of enough oxygen in tissues to substantiate or sustain bodily functions. Hypoxema, I can't say medical terms, and I actually went to be a CMA. Hypoxema, low levels of oxygen in your blood. And then there's hypercapnia, which is excessive carbon dioxide in your bloodstream caused by inadequate respiration. And my sister-in-law's a nurse. She's going to kill me for this one. But anyway, but by them keeping the mask on your kids all day long in school and through their sports events, and not letting them at least have, I heard this on a different place, but at least not letting them have at least 2 hours of break. But I would not want him having it on at all, or any of my grandkids having them on at all. They've already broken the Constitution and the Bill of Rights by amendments 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, and 14. And they've already broken whatever state you're in, its Constitution and your state amendments and the Civil Rights Acts of 1964 by just doing that. And from what I was reading also, the CDC never gave anybody the right to do that. And your Kansas Health Board doesn't not have, or Kansas or Texas or Alabama or Pennsylvania or any right board does not have the right to tell them to do that. Because you know why? There's no 100% provable truth that COVID-19 is 100% dangerous to you. I worked for attorneys, and the facts have to be 100% substantiated, and it's not 100% substantiated that it's dangerous to kill you or to hurt you. So the school and Department of Health have no right to restrict the breathing or things. So, what this constitutional law group says is that you can write like a letter to your school. There's other things you can do too, but you as a parent can write a letter to your school as a start and say that they have no right to restrict the breathing of your offspring because it's child endangerment. And this is, I'm just taking parts of it, um, because they cannot violate your constitutional protection and rights because it's no basis in any proven medical research has done with grave, and it has grave consequences, and it's unlawfully and inhumanely blocked the flow of oxygen, which is an unlawful act that has harmed your offspring. Because by not having enough oxygen, those three things are one of the things that could happen. If your child has asthma, it could be harming them with that mask on. If they have allergies, it could be harming them because they're breathing. It's a proven. This is a proven fact. I knew this from my CMA classes even before any of this started. That when you have anything covering your mask or your face like that, if you're breathing that in for a long time, you're breathing in your own carbon dioxide. That's a proven fact. No one can dispute that. No doctor on the face of this earth can dispute that. So if you're doing that for 8 hours a day, you are breathing in your own germs. And if you're breathing in and you're doing that, you're in your own bacteria because you're breathing on that mask, you're putting it on that mask and you're breathing it in. So that's what they're saying. So if you're sick, you got a little cough or allergies, or even if you got little sniffles from that, that's your own bacteria. You're breathing right back in and it's going right back into you, into your lungs. That's what's making you sick, more sick, or could make you sick. So that right there is harming your children. That's the whole key point of why I hate masks and stuff. That's the whole key point of why I'm against them and against them on kids. And why I'm telling kids, you have to wear your mask, you have to wear your mask. And they're putting this fear in these kids saying, oh my gosh, I gotta wear my mask. Oh, it's a terror. You're mentally as well as physically harming these kids. This is just my opinion, but that's why I am dead set against them. And you're blocking the flow of fresh air. Who doesn't want fresh air? We're all in these homes. Who doesn't love to go outside and just take a breath of fresh air? Oh my gosh. There's nothing more beautiful than going outside, looking up at the sky that God created and just saying, oh my gosh, it's beautiful, and taking a breath of fresh air. But anyway, it's unlawful. It's an unlawful act that's harmed your offspring. And the masks are harming your offspring by causing low oxygen levels, increasing carbon dioxide levels, because you're breathing in your own carbon dioxide, and anxiety attacks. Now, the anxiety attacks isn't meaning that you're panicking and stuff, but think about this. Like I said, there's more suicides. I see on the news every day about kids that are missing, not getting out socializing with their friends. They can't even sit at schools. They can't even sit together at lunch. Like at one school that I know of, they pick a lunch partner and they get to sit with one person. And they have assigned lunch hours. They can even have lunch together. Sports aren't sports anymore. The NFL teams, they all get to go out and play regular football with no mask on. But at high schools, middle schools, they have to wear masks. Now, where does that come in? Just basketball practices, football practices, wrestling practices. They have to wear a mask, which is harming them worse. I don't get it. That doesn't make sense. So while they're practicing sweating, breathing harder, there's that carbon dioxide going in harder. They're harming our children. And not helping them at all. But the ones that aren't in school, they're missing out on all of just this participation in any of that, which is harming them more when they hear about the schools that are. So we're having more suicides, having more drug usage, just more crime when they do get out, they want to release. Think about what you're doing to them mentally, or what's happening to them if we don't stand up and fight for them. Who's going to if we don't? It's a well-established fact and supported by evidence that mask wearing contributes to those three things. Because wearing masks creates a bacterial cesspool over the mouth and nose, and it forces you to inhale your own waste product and carbon dioxide, which is poison to your bloodstream, organs, and immune systems. And on that note, I want to mention one thing. A reason I will not wear a mask is that I have, because my kids are always yelling at me about, you should wear a mask for somebody else, and that's why I wear one, and blah, blah, blah. And I honor them if they want to do that. And it's not that I don't care about other people. So those of you that are saying, well, you just don't care about other people, that's your right and to believe that. But see, it's not that I don't care about other people, because I don't go out and get in other people's faces, and I don't get out and go and try to argue with people. But I care about me, because I have a low immune system. I was diagnosed in 2004 with multiple sclerosis, so my immune system is probably one of the lowest and stuff. My blood cells are low. And get this, in 2015, I had stage 3 cancer. So there we go. My immune system is beat down just a tad bit more. And then, right before all this started, before we started getting real bad, I got stage 3 kidney disease. But you know what? I'm still functioning okay. I'm still doing good. And I don't wear a mask. And you know what? I take and keep healthy by just my faith, because I always tell people when I got diagnosed with cancer and they said, you better get your family in order and get things together. I told them, I said, you don't know my God. And I went to my pastor, my spiritual father, and I had him and his wife pray for me, my parents, spiritual parents, and they prayed for me. And I kept my faith. And I still have that faith. And I'm not saying that that COVID can't get me. I'm not saying that it will or won't. I could catch something from somebody. I could catch a flu tomorrow and it could take me out. I could catch pneumonia and it could take me out. I could trip and fall and it could take me out. But I'm not wearing a mask, because I'm not going to breathe in my own germs to make it any worse on my immune system. And I'm not going to listen to some bureaucrat telling me that I have to endanger my life, because I have 4 beautiful grandchildren that I'll be darned if you're going to tell me that I'm not going to watch grow up because you want to try to play politics with me, when I have a legal right to say no. And that's what I'm trying to say. And that's what I'm trying to say to people that want to stand up for their rights, and for the citizens that want to keep their restaurants open, keep the churches open. Let us that want to go out and speak about God and talk about His beauty and the joy that He can give. And let us that want to do that and then go sit down at that restaurant and enjoy a nice glass of sweet tea and shop at a place that's not afraid to stand up, one of the small businesses. Then I'll be willing to do that. Because sorry, I don't want my emotions to get the best of me. But not being able to see smiles and being able to associate with people, we're hurting our kids. We're hurting them emotionally, physically. We're hurting people spiritually, even the elderly. We're hurting everybody. We're tearing our world apart. And we have to stand up for ourselves. We have to. Nobody else is going to do it. So I'm just asking. I'm a nobody. But have faith in yourself and have faith in the fact that if we all stood up, went to those city meetings, go on that constitutional law group page, look the stuff up, send those letters out, get those chapters going, get with people that are like-minded, stand up to the schools, stand up to the health department, stand up to the city people that are shutting you down. Get behind the small businesses, get behind the people that are willing to say, I have had enough. And let's take America back. Watch Anonymous on Facebook. If you have him on Facebook, he's on Instagram. I think he's under Dream Rare and stuff. Because I heard him the other day. If we have to start a new political party, let's do it. Let's get somebody in there. Let's get people in there. Let's do what we've got to do. Let's get people that are going to listen to us and take back what's ours. We were founded on God-given rights. And you know what? I have nothing against standing up for people. My grandfather's mother was pure Cherokee Indian. They were the first group to get torn down. This country doesn't belong to anybody. If anybody, it belongs to the Indians. I'm sorry. And you don't see them out tearing up the streets. You don't see them out tearing up people and hurting people. And we owe them just as much, if not more. So why can't we all just work together? And I'm just going to end with this. There's an artist out there. His name is Toby Mac. He's one of the most amazing artists I have ever learned. I drive in my car. If you ever see a person, like I said, driving down the street in the city or on the highway, that I guarantee you is raising hands and singing and dancing, it's me. I guarantee it. But got a song was made with the Diverse City Band. It's called Starts With Me. It was made with singer Aaron Cole. And I'm going to end with this. Whether you agree with me or not, and whether you're going to fight for this country or not, the way I am saying fight for it peacefully, or you're going to just let it fall apart however you want. Listen to that song and take it to heart, because it's more the truth than anything I can even think of. And then every song he sings actually is the truth. But that's one this world needs to hear right now. So with that, I'm going to say bye. Till next time. I love you.